Wow. This one was interesting. Hi everybody, Anthony here from Awesome Team Productions, and today I'm going to give you my review of a joint German and American horror film directed by Tillman Singer, Cuckoo. But before we get started, you know exactly what to do. At the end of the video, if you think I've earned it, please leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you never miss any of my new reviews. Now let's get into it. Cuckoo stars Hunter Schafer as Gretchen, a grieving 17-year-old who lost her mother and is now moving to the German Alps with her father, played by Martin Sokas, her stepmother, played by Jessica Henwick, and her mute, seizure-prone stepsister Alma, played by Mila Liu. Her father gets a job working in the German Alps at a resort run by Herr Koenig, played by Dan Stevens, and Gretchen gets a part-time job working the front desk. But after seeing some very strange incidences at the resort, like people falling ill in the lobby, moments of heavy deja vu that almost feel like a time loop, and the appearance of a mysterious and threatening hooded woman, Gretchen will soon realize that her family's caught up in the middle of something very sinister, and that Herr Koenig may be at the center of all of it. Right away, I really want to praise Hunter Schafer. I only watched a bit of Euphoria and couldn't really get into it.
It's pretentious.
But I thought from what I saw that she gave a great performance on that show. And she also gave a really good supporting performance in The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and had a very small but impactful role in Kinds of Kindness. Here, though, as the lead of this bizarre, slow burn, pulpy horror movie, her performance is a triumph. She plays up the depressive, anxious angst of a grieving teenager that has been completely ripped from her home by a family that treats her like a burden, so naturally that it's really hard not to get invested into this character and sympathize with her.
You have my deepest sympathies.
A lot of times, characters that have this kind of backstory, especially when they're teenage girls in a horror movie, are written as irredeemable, insufferable little shits with a chip on their shoulder. You suck! Even though it doesn't really give us much to do anything other than hate them. But with the way that Gretchen's father and stepmother treat her, pretty early on you gain a ton of sympathy for her, and you understand when she has those moments of defiance and rudeness that pop up. And as she delves deeper into this mystery and learns more about the hidden goings-on around the resort, Gretchen's anxiety and depressive state start to kind of morph into a descent into madness that is only staved off by her need to figure out what the hell is going on. And I thought the movie pulled off that balancing act masterfully. By the end, when she goes into full final girl territory, I really was just left wanting to see Hunter Schafer in more horror movies. The other standout in the cast here is Dan Stevens as Herr Koenig. Dan Stevens is a dude that just has a ton of range, from being a sociopathic weapon of destruction in The Guest, to a likable goofball veterinarian in Godzilla x Kong, to a jerk that you love to hate in Abigail before he goes full on villain.
I hate ballet.
And here, he brings in bits and pieces of those other roles that he's perfected, but still has enough that makes it unique enough of a role for him. He starts off as a loving friend to Gretchen's family and a caring boss for her father Luis, yet he has a bit of a sinister undertone during those scenes that make you feel like he's hiding something. And I definitely won't spoil the reveal and what happens, but by the time that he gets to go full villain here, he somehow manages to be threatening, creepy, and maniacal, all while somehow understating that and still keeping some charm and being an understandable villain. That's really all I'm going to say without going into spoilers, though I will add that bless you. That's really all I'm going to say without going into spoilers, though I will add that I thought the rest of the supporting cast here was great, especially Jessica Henwick. The part where my review slides a little bit away from the positive, though, is now when we talk about the story. For the most part, during the first 2 acts of this pretty short hour-and-a-half horror movie, this gives us a very compelling mystery. There's little breadcrumbs left here and there, but outside of the third act reveal, nothing really makes much sense here, but thankfully not to the point where it's incoherent. You're just kind of confused and wanting to learn more.
I have no idea what's going on.
Instead, those moments of experiencing a time loop or getting jump scared by the hooded woman not only serve to creep you out and maybe even scare you, but to draw you more into this mystery and really question what the hell is going on. But when we finally do get an explanation and everything is out there, while it is a very interesting and unique concept, I'm not sure that it was fleshed out as well as it could have been, and ultimately it left me with more questions than answers. Though it did lead to a particularly intense, shit-hitting-the-fan climax that, while not being the biggest horror set piece of the year with a ton of blood and gore or anything like that, is somehow high stakes and very personal at the same time, leaving you on the edge of your seat to see how Gretchen manages to get out of this. Moving away from the story, I thought that the direction and the cinematography on display here were really great. Not only did they frame the German Alps and this resort in beautiful ways that still feel kind of sinister, but they really put you in Gretchen's shoes, showing the scary and interesting things in such a way that you really have to put your full focus on them to get the full impact. There's not many jump scares here too, but the ones that we got were unique and actually worked for me, especially one that you see in the trailers involving Gretchen riding her bike while being stalked by the hooded woman. Now, if you've been on my channel for any period of time, you know that I'm a huge horror fan, so I don't really like this next thing a lot, but here I actually appreciated that a lot of the violent stuff happened off screen and we got to see the aftermath. This movie is way more interested in giving you a slow burn mystery with horror elements instead of giving you just a shock fest full of blood and gore.
What are you doing?
Going over the
Ultimately, this film is not going to be for everyone. It's a film that you really have to sink your teeth into and absorb for it just to make sense. And even then, the explanation that we get for this mystery may not be that satisfying for a lot of moviegoers. But for me, though I had a few problems with the story and the mystery reveal, I still enjoyed this slow burn horror movie and was really impressed by the direction, cinematography, scares, and restraint that came with them, and the performances from everyone involved, especially the standouts of Dan Steven and Hunter Schafer. And that's my review of Cuckoo. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this review, you know exactly what to do. I said it earlier. Please leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you never miss any of my new reviews. While you're at it, you can scroll down in the description below, find the links to my socials, leave a comment, let you know if you saw this movie and what you thought. And if you want more of my content, you can click or tap on these cards right here. They'll take you to my review of Borderlands or just over to my channel where you can check out the rest of my reviews and my shorts. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll be back in town for my Scotland trip this week, so I will be bringing you a very late review of Alien Romulus. See you next time.